There's a moment when you're faced with a challenge, and just solving the problem isn't good enough. We accepted that challenge and pushed well beyond all expectations. Even if that means breaking the rules and shredding apart all conventional ways of thinking, all in the name of creating something truly remarkable. We started by developing next-generation brushless tech, which produces the most commanding propulsion ever with supreme efficiency. Fabricated with aerospace-grade titanium for the ultimate in durability, it's engineered with such precision that it has moved beyond stealth. All guided by state-of-the-art advanced GPS navigation modes. We removed all worries with built-in compound fail-safes for unstoppable reliability. And it's painstakingly crafted to last all day, every day. All backed by our continued promise and commitment to be there whenever you need us, no questions asked. With this much control at its command, we didn't stop with just one. We created two incredible trolling motors. Introducing the new Power Pole Move brushless trolling motor.
There's a big one just there. Holy moly, that's big. Right up on that wash on the Spike 44. That's the deep runner, so just jamming into the rocks. You can see as I'm fishing it, it's a real slow retrieve. Kind of really careful with the rod tip. So as you feel the rock or the kelp, you just slow down and kind of lift your rod tip. That's the deep diving spike again, the EXDR. So there's an MR and an EXDR. This one will go down to probably a maximum of about 12 feet. And the MR is about half that, 6 feet. So using the deep one today on the washes. Working not too bad.
The team at Rapala have been slaving away the past couple of months on the sand flats here to get the most lifelike Yabby impersonation, the Crush City Imposter.
So make sure you get down to your local Rapala stockers, grab a pack before they run out and crush them.
Welcome! We've got episode 40 of ABT Live coming at you now from wherever you're watching around Australia. How you going, Steve?
Good night tonight, number 40. Who would have thought that when we started this show we would have 40 shows to make and all that work? That, honestly, I don't do much of it. You do most of it, so sucked in. You invented it, so you do all the work.
Oh, and we've had a lot going on since episode 39. It was just over a month ago. So back then we hadn't finished the bass season. We hadn't gone barra fishing. There's been no electric bass grand final.
Yep, and all those things have happened now. Indeed.
So big show lined up as we've wrapped up our Bass Pro series. We were down the Hunter Valley. We did a Hunter River round. We did an event at Lake St Clair. So wrapped up that, and we are all looking forward now to the grand finals. So we've got Lake Bream coming up this weekend. So to crown our 13 Fishing Bass Pro Grand Final champions.
Yep, we leave tomorrow.
We do. There's a lot of packing that needs to get done between now and then.
Yep.
And then home for 24 hours before we hit the road again, heading down to Port Stephens, where we will crown our Daiwa Bream Series Grand Final champions. So big couple of weeks ahead of us.
And to be honest, I'm looking forward to getting some car park space back, because under all of the carports outside here, there are our Alloy Craft Mercury Grand Final boats. Troy from Min Repairs has been doing a great job fitting all of those up, but they've got all the kit, the Green Marine batteries. They have Garmin and Humminbird kit on them. They're on trailers, a couple of Mercury 60 horsepowers. One's got a motor guide, one's got a Garmin Force on the front. Ready to go. You know, waterproof, onboard, Green Marine 12 and 24 volt chargers. They've got the great combo chargers on there. They're an amazing boat that I've had in my possession for too long. So let's give them away.
I'm looking forward to that very much. What are we talking about first? Before we crack into all the ABT bits and pieces though,
Yep.
I think you've had something a little exciting going on in magazine world, hey?
That's it. This is my real job that pays for all the hobbies that we do. It's called ABT, Fishing Monthly magazine. After nearly 30 years, we are finally gloss in the marketplace. So I picked this one up this morning from the printers. We printed a local printer in Brisbane called Printcraft, who specialised in high quality gloss printing. It's a beast now. It's marginally smaller than the old newsprint copy, but man, it's about 50% heavier, which means I get to spend more money with Australia Post. Thanks, Australia Post. I love you. But 128 pages here, and this is how good we are getting stuff to print. It includes the Bass Electric Grand Final report, and that wasn't even 2 weeks ago that event happened. So Chesley's winning the Grand Final. It's in lovely glossy pages right now. Available at all the newsagents. ABT members of each month get that email from ABT. They get free access to the digital issue. But if you're not an ABT member, you want to support what we do, none of this like and subscribe BS. Just go to the newsagents, buy one of these suckers. Fishing Monthly magazine, reports from all over the country, all the ABT stuff, lots of technique stuff. And you can keep me in a job. And I'll keep making these shows. That's how it works.
Keeps me in a job.
Which keeps you in a job. Exactly right. If I'm out of a job, you're out of a job. So yeah, it's Fishing Monthly for a long time underwrote what ABT did, especially when we had 3 staff at ABT. If we ever were a bit short of money, Fishing Monthly was like the big brother that'd help. But nowadays, oh well, ABT, it's grown up. We kicked it out of home, and it's on its own 2 feet. So sister companies, Fishing Monthly and ABT. Thought I'd just let you know about that. And even though that looks like James Howarth on the front, it isn't. So don't ring us up asking him where the money he owes you is.
Harsh.
Oh, harsh. I've only been asked by 3 people so far. So.
Alrighty. First competition of the night. What are we doing?
We're doing this kit, which is the, it's got Daiwa, some Rapala, Crush Cities in there, some Halcos in there, Bait Junkies in one of the Daiwa wallets. It's where you're watching from. I'm sure people have already jumped the gun and started telling where they're watching from because they are trained. But there's about, 60, 80, $100 worth of baits in there. So we are going to draw that at the end of the show. Let us know from what part of Australia or what part of the world, even though we're not going to pick you if you're overseas because Australia Post charging me too much in postage to send it to you.
Talking to you, Mike Suckley.
Yeah, Mike Suckley, sorry, you're not going to win it. No, let us know where you're from. We love seeing where people watch from and go from there. So we'll have another comp later, and tonight we got a great Atomic, some Barra, Dash, Dewey sort of style stuff to give away. We're going to give that away later in the night. We haven't even worked out how we're going to give that away yet. We're going to make that up as we go along.
That's what we do. Alright, so let us know. We've got YouTube, we're monitoring YouTube, we're monitoring Facebook. Let us know where you're watching from. We'll keep an eye on those comments throughout the night.
And if you want some Inception sort of work, Nicole does monitor both at once. Look at us looking at you, looking at us looking at you in this. See if that blows your brain. We have to turn the volume down on that or we just blows our brain.
Cool. 13 Fishing Bass Pro Grand Final, Lake Brinduma this weekend.
Yep.
It's been really hot out there. It's going to get a little bit cold.
Well, it's going to cool down. Apparently it's like a 12 or 14 degree turnaround from high 30s to low 20s. And I'm sort of not scared of that. I'm one of the competitors, probably not one of the favourites fishing that event since I double donutted there in the qualifier. But I'm not afraid of a cooler change for bass. I think bass sort of, when the water gets too hot, they don't like being shallow. And being shallow is where I like to catch my bass. So some people are a bit afraid of the change. Yeah, I'm not. Can't get you into less than 0. So, but look, a great event planned. Like all grand finals, we love catering the events. We couldn't find a caterer for this one. So what does Nicole do? She's doing the catering this weekend. She has been cooking up a storm for, I don't know how many nights have you been cooking up a storm? 3 or 4 nights. You've got all the pre-prepared meals. We're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you what they are. They're pretty good because if you're not in the grand final, you're not going to get them. Sorry, but Nicole has gone to great efforts to make up for the lack of catering. Because if it wasn't you catering, it was going to be burger and chips from the kiosk, and you gave that the big.
Then maybe not for a grand final.
Yep. So good meals for the guys there. At that briefing, we take opportunities to present our yearly awards. Our Anglers of the Year. Maddie Langford, Adam Mears for the non-boater. They'll get their trophies on that night. We give away the Duff Rods Rookie of the Year. That gets given away. You might have a pick of those rods there. I think Steve Duff released that during the week on social media. There's the rods are coming up there. So there's 3 rods there for the Rookie of the Year. And I don't know if it's really a secret who won that because he announced himself on the socials this week. But Tyson will be picking up a fantastic set of Duff rods there, like they do in the Bream and the Bass. Every year, Steve Duff puts together a great set of rods for the Bream Rookie of the Year and the Bass Rookie of the Year, and they can use those either furthering their career as a non-boater or if it had non-boaters move up to the boater ranks and take him with him. He makes a great rod, and Duffman's been a great supporter of ABT for a long time. So thank you very much for that, Steve.
Should we talk about our lineup for our grand final?
Yeah, I think that's neat. Oh, but let's before we do that, we were talking about Anglers of the Year. And look, our boater, he won 3 events this year. Our boater Angler of the Year, Matty Langford. He is a man of many, many talents. He's a guide, catches heaps of bass. He's pretty damn good at breaking his own boat out there. But thanks to our roving, secret, undisclosed cameraman Mitchell Cone, we have a little insight to how good Matty Langford is at singing. And I think if this doesn't wreck Roy Orbison for you forever, nothing ever will.
Come on, Matty, get it. Pretty woman, walking down the street. Pretty woman, walking down the street.
Oh, he promised if I played that, he'd never talk to me again.
Yeah, Matty, you promised that if we played that, you're not talking to Nicole, so she's expecting that sign language from you this weekend. Thank you very much. If you've got snippets of information about some of our gun anglers, we're happy to play them on ABT Live. I think that I really like the sort of keeping in time with the beat with the hip thrusting.
He's a dancer.
He's probably got other talents that we don't know about that he's probably not going to reveal, just yet. But if you've got any great videos like that of some of our top placed bass anglers, shoot them to us. If we think we're not going to get sued, we'll play them on live. Definitely. The other thing we've got, and we had some clowns commenting on this during the week, is we've got our new draw system for the grand final. Nicole, explain how the draw works in the grand final while I go get the prop.
Alrighty, so normally at an ABT event we all turn up and we've got written on a sheet of paper who's fishing with who. We do all the pairings before we get on site. The grand finals we do a little bit differently. It's a random draw on site at the briefing. So we've got everyone's names all chopped up into all the different pieces. So we've got our boaters, we've got our non-boaters. They're all going to come off this whiteboard tomorrow when we're packing up, go in buckets, and at the briefing we will pull out our boaters and our non-boaters and all will be revealed. So
you'll be able to take a photo with your phone because there's no reception really at Lake Boondooma. So you don't have to ask who you're with. We won't be able to give you little sheets, but we can show you this. And this is our new system we worked out. And no, this isn't the draw for the weekend, even though questions are that it is. And if you want it to be, bad luck, because it's not happening that way. It might happen that way. There's about a 1 in 600,000 chance that it will end up exactly the same as this. But this is what you're going to be seeing on the briefing night. So we had a very crafty afternoon a couple of days ago putting it together.
So we'll roll it out this Friday for the Bass Grand Final, and then next Friday our Bream guys will see the board down at Port Stephens.
Indeed, and the Bream one we publish the draw up online. We'll have coverage because we have the ABT Starlink now. As long as no one stands in front of it, we're all good. And you will be able to see who's fishing with who, at least at the grand final. Speaking of the Starlink, it means that we can live stream the weigh-ins each day. So we will have, just like Sinclair, which is in mobile phone, what do you call it? They just don't get service at Sinclair. We have the live weigh-ins there. So we'll be able to do the same. So you'll be able to see the weigh-in action, the 13 Fishing Bass Pro Series Grand Final this weekend. 2 days, 1 o'clock each day?
Yeah, 1 p.m. Queensland time. So
2 o'clock New South Wales time.
Take note, 1 p.m. Saturday and Sunday Queensland time, live from Boondooma.
So now is a good time maybe to have a look at the lineups for the bass. So you've got the boater lineup there. I've done a few stats on these anglers here. We have 11 New South Wales anglers, 8 Queensland anglers, and 1 lone Victorian angler fishing the grand final, which is Corey Goldie. So, you know, even though Queenslanders like winning the grand finals, New South Wales have the numbers advantage there. And looking through that list, it's a pretty strong field. There might only be 20 boats in the grand final this year, but holy hell, there is some bassin talent there. You know, you've got the Queensland guns are going to be worth watching. The Matt Langfords, Mick Johnsons, and guys like Matt Johnson and Sean Falconagan, who did well in the qualifier there earlier in the year. But man, what about the current grand finalist champion Braden Shue? Previous grand final winners like Brian Everingham. You know, there are guys up there who will be off the radar who have been up there, not sneakily, just pre-fishing, working hard. And I'm a firm believer if you work hard, you're probably going to get some results. So I know guys like Keegan and Brad Wixon and those guys would have been up there. Some of the Queensland guys taking advantage of the learning the impoundment. And let's face it, it's a pretty cool prize to win. Where Braden Shue talks about it a little bit later in the show. We've interviewed him, and it's fantastic. So non-boater lineup. Let's have a look again. We've got some previous champions there. We've got anglers of the year in there. We have we have Bridget, who's a gun chick on the stick. She knows how to catch them. I just made that up. It's pretty good, eh? You know, guys like Nick Brown coming all the way up from Victoria. It's going to be a very hotly contested field for both the boaters and the non-boaters. Now, the boaters win the boat, you know, 40 or 50 grand, whatever the boat's worth. Have we got a photo of the non-boater bass prize wall there?
We do, and it's nearly all in the photo. So this is a bit of a preview there. The last few years we've been doing this. We collect a whole bunch of tackle from all our awesome sponsors and just put together the biggest tackle pack we possibly can for our non-boaters. There's a 13 reel, there's a rod in there, plus lures for days.
What's it worth? About $4,000 or?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a decent tackle pack, and our grand finals are unashamedly winner take all. So you win the boater division, you win like a $40,000 boat. Second place, you win like a Miller rod or something like that. Great rod, but ain't worth $40,000. So and same in the non-boaters. You know, $4,000 prize of tackle, like all the stuff you need to fish next year. Second place is like a rod and a reel or something like that.
And some packets of the Crush City plastics on that board too. Yeah,
they're a premium at the moment. Yeah. So there are some rare items in there. So we're looking forward to a fantastic one this weekend. We'll check out the weigh-ins. They'll be live from Boondooma there, and it's going to be a good weekend. The grand finals are worth coming to. You get the ABT shirt. You get fed. You have a little bit of function, and you have that really good odds of winning a great prize. So that's fantastic. Let's have a look at the grand final.
Sorry, I'm getting all sorts of friendly messages from Matt Langford across all the devices at the moment.
Oh, come on. Show your love for Matty. Tell us what a great singer he is. Has he wrecked Roy Orbison for you forever? Don't know. He could have. Well, we did a segment with 13 Fishing's Mitchell Petty. We have dragged him in from all the way out the back of the building here to have a chat about it. He won't be attending the grand final, but you can find out the reason in this next segment here. Let's go and catch up with Mitchy. So, Mitch, big year it's been for both 13 Fishing, who's the naming sponsor, of course, of the 13 Fishing Bass Pro Series, but also for Rapala, you know, the company that owns 13 Fishing. Now, mate, you guys would have to be pretty stoked at the uptake on gear, how many of your guys have won events, and all the non-boaters wearing your kit all over the place. It's been a pretty full-on year for you guys.
Yeah, no, it's been really awesome, just to see the traction that we've got over the last couple of years, and particularly this year, particularly with our pro staff guys like Mick Johnson and Langers have done really well this year, so it's awesome to see. And also too with our non-boaters, seeing all the non-boaters with our 13 shirts is awesome to see in the photos and stuff like that on the results. Yeah, well, let's start with that. We had the program this year where every single non-boater in their first event of the Bass Pro Series got given a 13 Fishing shirt, and it was a cool looking shirt as well. It was like that sort of brown colour with the black sleeves.
really easy to keep clean, but also it's a cool shirt. Did they have the built-in buffs in them?
They do, yeah. So you've got the built-in buff and the hood, and then also your little hot thumb holes as well too, to sort of protect the back of your hands. Yeah, 100%.
And so we saw non-boaters, nearly all non-boaters wearing those all year. And when they weren't wearing that, they were probably wearing their Rapala shirts from the year before. So from that non-boater side, it was awesome to see guys like Troy Lowe who had won an event on the 13 fishing reels. Like, he loved them so much, I think he bought several of them from his trek to a boater. So and he was throwing like ZX blades on them. So it's good to see the brand coming mainstream, because you, as a company, you've invested in the bass fishermen, but the bass fishermen are spending money back, and it's how the cycle works.
Yeah, 100%, and it's paying dividends. You know, like, it's starting to see that growth of it, and that's why we do it. That's why we do, you know, and support you guys and stuff. And we want it to grow, you know, within the community and within the industry, and seeing it sort of grow. It's awesome. Let's
have a look at. I think Matt Langford won half of the qualifying events. He did.
He smashed it. He's done really good this year.
Yep, but he's but throwing the 13 fishing bait casters, including the one that I saw he was throwing at Hunter River, which had about 30 metres of line on it. He should talk to you about getting a bit of spare braid for that. But yeah, a great ambassador for your stuff, both in his guiding, but the results speak for themselves. He's killing it.
Yeah, no, he is, and he's just a good, genuine top bloke as well too. Like, he's, you know, got nothing bad to say about anyone. He just lets his fish and do the talking.
Did you see his karaoke video from down at Hunter River?
No, I haven't seen.
No, there's one that's really late one night, and I tell you what, as a karaoke performer, he's a great fisherman. Get him to send you that one. Matty, put it up on your socials and show everyone how good your karaoke is. And if you don't, I'm sure Mitchell Cohn will. Not only Matt Langford, though, it's not a one-man show. Mickey Johnson, he was leading AOI for a while, and he won that event down at Blue Rock using one of the cheaper rods, the Rapala Maxwell. It's like $100 and something rod, and it got the job done for him.
Yeah, no, it's an absolute cracking line of rods, the Maxwell series. They're very, very good, you know, nice and sensitive in the blank, and yeah, you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to get a nice rod. So, and he obviously showed it as well.
I look at the name and I just think Glenn Maxwell. I go, this rod's going to reverse sweep a bass down a fine leg for me. So no, look, awesome. And then I can't do a segment on ABT Live without mentioning the Bass Australian Open. The Rapala Shad Rap Elites kicking butt in there. It's become one of my favourite crankbaits because of how snag resistant they are. Like, I've dead set in the open, I reckon once a day I had to go in and get them off the snag, but subsequently when I've been fishing in, you know, Hunter River, all sorts of places, man, you just can't snag them up. You get really ballsy with them and you throw them in so deep that you get bites on them.
Yeah, and that's the whole idea of it. You need to be up in that structure, and that's where they are. So I think the beauty about the Shad Rap Elites is, like, it's not your typical crankbait. Like, it's sort of between like a deeper square bill, having that squarish sort of bib on the end of it. It sort of makes it deflect off structure like rock and timber and that a lot easier.
And natural and silent. That balsa construction, just the only rattles you can hear are from the rings and hooks, and just is sort of in their face, but kind of stealthy at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really good for pressured fish when they're copping a lot of, you know, high vibration, rattled sort of lures and stuff like that. Just having that bit more subtle presentation with balsa, it usually does the trick.
Now, a lot of questions I get asked from my bass fishing stuff is everyone likes the look of the white rods, but the fact is that's a prototype, and they're not doing them. You're not doing the white rods in the 13s.
No.
Your boss told me, it's all right. Yeah. Talk about this. Don't ask me about it anymore. You can't get them.
Yeah, no, so we'll sort of finish them up, and we've got some really good rods in the pipeline coming soon, so it'll be good.
Awesome. For me, the favourite reel is, I know that Troy liked the slide. That's the orange handled one with the bushes instead of the bearings. But that, what's the model? It's the white one for throwing ultralight lures. That's my favourite.
Yeah, the Concept C2. It's incredibly light, which is awesome, you know, when you're fishing smaller baits and that. But personally, I love using it for jigs. Being so light, it makes your whole combo a lot lighter, which then makes it more sensitive, which is perfect what you need for jigs and stuff like that.
Great. One of the things this year that I really liked that 13 Fishing came out with was the lure called the Jabberjaw. Got a couple of them here. Tell us about them, because they're like a chatterbait humped a crankbait. Yeah. That's what they are. Shallow and deep here. Tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, so the 13 Fishing Jabberjaw, obviously got two sizes right there, and it's pretty much like you said, it's a hybrid between a crankbait and a chatterbait. So the guys over in the States, you know, specifically designed them for the largemouth bass, and they wanted to try and get the best of a chatterbait and a crankbait, and they thought, what better way to put it together? So obviously you can see in the bib there, it articulates back and forth like that, and you can hear there's a bit of a knocking sound as well too, so there's no need for it to have a rattle. There's no need, so if you hold it all tight, it's silent until you get it, and then it's got metal cheeks on either side, and that's the clacking sound that you sort of hear it makes, and that's all it needed. It didn't need any internal rattles and stuff like that, and obviously the flash and that's as well too. What particularly with chatterbaits and stuff, what they're really renowned for, that's what they put it in as well too. So having that bit of shine, a bit of sound in that as well too, but still having that awesome crankbait sort of body, it's a perfect combination.
Perfect combination with the 13 fishing rod and reel, I'm sure. Now, another product, we've looked at these a little bit before in the live show, but you're talking about the chatterbaits, and Rapala has its own version now, and they're not cookie cutter standard like you'd see in all the other brands. It's a little bit of a stylised bib and available in some pretty interesting packaging. Tell me about these fellas. They're called the V series.
Yeah, so these guys come in 3 sizes. So you've got a 10, a 15, and a 21 gram. So it's perfect for fishing in different water columns. Shallow all the way at like deep. I'd be using the 21 gram, and those flats and that sort of about 6-7 meters, no dramas at all. And that's the little bit that's different too, is the blade. Having a printed bladed on them, it's something a little bit unique and different, and it matches the body of the chatterbait really, really well.
Great, good to see if you're into the sponsor karma thing and want to buy Rapala and 13 products, it's good to see that you have virtually everything covered nowadays. You don't have to go and use a variety of brands if you don't want. If you want the channel of sponsor karma, you can come and do it. Now, a couple of stories here, because we've talked about these a little bit before as well, but they played again this year, both long lining and casting the deep crankbaits there. That DT20.
DT20, yep.
I know it's one of your favourites. I look in your box, there's heaps of them.
If I had to pick one lure for bass, particularly in the impoundments, I would be cracking DT20.
They played a lot up at, say, Boondooma this year, where the grand final's going to be, so I'm sure we'll see a lot of these fellas tied on up there. Yep. But I know this one's got a special place in your heart. Come on, Mitchie, tell us the story.
Yeah, so this one I actually got biggest bass at Somerset, was it 3 years ago now? Won the biggest bass on that one, 53 forker, I got that one. So it means a lot to me, that little DT8. So just because it's little doesn't mean it doesn't get big fish. I can tell you that right now.
Of course, Bo Everly used this lure as well to win the non-boater section of the grand final in Clarence. So that was a winning bait for him as well. So the rule around here is if you catch something very noteworthy, and that 53 fork is noteworthy, 7 more years you got to bang on about it.
Yeah.
3 years ago, 7 more years you got, and then we're going to say stop telling us about the 8. Okay,
flogging a dead horse.
The 8 you won there. So, and of course, you'd have to be living under a rock if you didn't see how good the launch of Crush City was.
Oh,
is it a trade secret how many packets of it you sold in the first month?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. It'd be thousands.
It's nearly 6 figures worth of packets of baits.
Yeah,
Timmy will let us say that much. Yeah. But look, personally, I remember my non-boater. We got those sample packs that had one of each of the different models of Crush City in it. My non-boater fished out one of these suspects and won the non-boater title from the back of the boat on the brim on the suspect. So I bet you 100% thought that was going to be a bass bait, and it wasn't the first tournament was going to win, was going to be a rib tournament.
Yeah,
that was going to surprise you, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we absolutely thought dominate the bass, and it is that smaller profile we sort of thought would definitely catch brim, and that no doubt. But yeah, to see it win non-boaters in the brim is it's such an awesome thing to see, and also too Mickey winning Hins Dam on that exact Crush City suspect baitfish right there as well too.
That's the one, and that he Pete Clark sort of stole Mick Horn's thunder. Mick would have been the first one to win the tournament on it, but no, that happened last weekend, mate. So kicking lots of goals. I know they've been a bit hard to get because you've got. I think you had some new imposters turn up recently. So the imposters will be restocked, which are the prawn ones. Yep.
So we've got selected colours and them ones that we managed to be able to get. So they should be in stores now. So that'll be good. And the other ones, sort of hoping the next sort of month or two get the rest of the range.
So before Christmas, you should be able to restock on the Crush City.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about. You have a promotion going on social media at the moment. If you catch fish on the Crush City, you can post a picture and you get like every single pack and
literally
colour.
Every single one.
It's like a big box. They're all stacked up on the
they're
stairs
still in their office here.
How many packs do you get?
So it should be 40 packets.
40 packs of Crush Cities.
Yep.
And tell people how you enter that comp.
Yeah, so guys, all you've got to literally do is just go get a packet of Crush City, go fish it, grab a photo. Doesn't matter what size or what species it is, and then all you got to do is you got to post it up, tag Rapala Facebook
with the Crush City lure.
Crush City in its mouth, of course, so we can see that you definitely caught it on a Crush City. And post it up on our socials, and then every week we'll draw a winner of all the photos and stuff, and you literally get to win a whole range.
It's like $500 worth of Crush Cities.
Legit, and it's every single model. So you've got your heavy hitter, you've got your creeper, you've got your imposter, the jerk, and the suspect. So you got the whole range to try it out.
little bit of insight is that we know that the models of Crush City are nicknamed after people in your office. You know, you got the creeper in there. You got who's the jerk?
The jerk's Matt.
Matt
Sorry,
Osley.
Matt.
Sorry, yeah. Who's the creeper?
Creeper's Timmy, the boss.
What are you?
I'm the suspect. Had to be the suspect, and Mick had to be the heavy hitter. It was a no-brainer.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and then Jess is the imposter because she tries to be one of the boys.
And she's a girl. So
Sorry, Jess.
The question is, if you're going to release new models of the Crush City, do you need to put more staff on? Because you run out of staff to give nicknames to.
Yeah, well, probably Otzi will probably be the next in line, our sales rep. So he'll be the next in line. We'll have to give him a name.
I know Otzi is definitely eyeing off all of those like boxes of 40 packs of Crush City. He wants to sell them.
100%. Yeah, he is itching.
But marketing's going to give them away.
Yeah,
so you can win them.
100%, because the stores have just we couldn't believe it would sell as good as it did, and it just flew off the shelf. So no, it's awesome to see.
Now, final thing I want to talk about today is your absence at the grand final. You got an invitation. You're going to be up there on the Friday night, rubbing shoulders with everyone, but you're not going to be out there competing for that fantastic boat package. What's the story? What's going on? How come you not get that 1 in 20 chance of a 50 grand boat? What's going on?
Nah, I got some family stuff on the weekend. I sort of promised the rallies and stuff that I'd be attending. So, but no, I would have loved to have been there, but it is what it is. So.
We'll go asking the tough questions.
Yeah, I reckon.
But you will be there. You'll have your little assortment of 13 reels and the stuff there, so everyone can chat to you there, and you can wish everyone the best of luck.
100%.
With your second day performance at Boondooma at the qualifier this year, there will be a whole lot of guys happy you're not there because you wailed on them on day 2 there. You got the big fat donut. I know what it was like on day 1 to get the donut, but on day 2 you caught the fish on day 2, and there will be about 19 other people saying, Mitchie, point us in the right direction, will you? What's the go? And the sponsor Carver, you probably would have wrote it, mate. Someone's got to beat Matt Langford, and let me point out at this point, Matt Langford ain't won no Bass Grand Finals ever.
Yes, I know. I actually talked to him this year about it. He goes, yeah, no, haven't got a grand final yet, and that's something that he's willing to have a crack at.
Has he won an Open?
I
don't think he's won a Bass Open either.
No, I don't think he's won an Open.
He's just a small event player. Matthew Langford, prove us wrong, prove your sponsor proud, and let's see if maybe you can change a little bit of history this weekend. Anything else you want to say, mate, before we sign off? Because after this show, we're packing the vans and we're going.
Get ready to go. No, it's it's awesome. Thank you guys for an awesome year. It's been such a pleasure to be able to sponsor all the rounds this year, and looking forward to the grand final and see how it's going to play out. It's going to be a great event, I reckon. Got any hints for next year? Is it going to be the 13 Fishing Bass Pro Series again next year? Oh, I'd say it would be. Yeah, after having a really cracking year this year, I don't see why it won't be this next year. That's right. That's awesome. Mitchie, just sell all the marketing department's money for him, spend it all for him, and then, what do you call him? The jerk? The jerk. You just sign off. There you go. Yeah, no, this will be good. Thanks for joining us, mate, and thanks for not coming to the grand final, mate. I'll be one place higher. Cheers.
Every sunrise is a promise. It's a celebration of what's to come. Memories waiting to be made. And adventures to be had. Each new day is an open invitation to live beautifully. Make every day more beautiful with Maui Jim.
What about that?
Poor Matthew Langford, you're just picking on him all night tonight.
Hey, I let you set the agenda tonight, and it was like, don't blame me for it.
It's all you. I'm good.
Well, I've got a plan. Let's not make it me or you. Let's make it you guys. Do we play Maddie's karaoke video again? I want either a thumbs up or a thumbs down in the comments, Facebook or YouTube. We'll make it worth your while. Someone who is on the winning side, more yeses or more nos, will win this pack from Atomic. One of the reel baits, one of the caps, one of the deep jerk baits, one of the shallow jerk baits. So if you're not a barra fisherman, it's probably a good big flatty bait or a dewy bait or something like that. So the guys from Frogley's Offshore kitted us up with this prize to give away for every one of our live shows this year. So thanks to Michael, Dominic and the team down there. I know guys like Joey Allen might be watching, or they may be watching Australia play Netherlands in the cricket.
We just lost the whole heap of viewers.
Could be either way. So let us know. Yes, we want to see it again. No, we don't want to see it again. Let them roll through down on there. Next we're talking about, Nicole, is the other grand final, which will free up one more car park out at the car park there, the Bream Grand Final. Give us a rundown.
So heading to Port Stephens, Bream Grand Final. It is 3 days.
3 days.
So next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be at Soldiers Point, looking to give away that boat.
Yep, 3 days. You've got to make your fish last longer. It's the only 3-day events we run are the Bream Australian Open and the Bream Grand Final. So we always see on the last day someone coming back spectacularly to win the prize. Same value prize, or maybe a touch more because it's got a live scope on it, the Bream boat. But solidly in that sort of $50,000 class, that 463 alloy craft with a 60 horsepower Mercury. Full field, 30 invitations sent out. We got pretty good take up by all of them. I think 27 in the first round got taken up in the boater side, and I think it was 29 non-boaters.
29 non-boaters, and on Friday last week, just before that pre-fish ban kicked in, we got our last boater in, Scott Wilson, rounding out the top 30.
Yep.
Should we have a look at our lineup?
Yeah, let's have a look at them. I've done some stats on these fellas as well. Let's go to, we're going to the boaters first. So the boater lineup, we have 16 New South Wales anglers in that. We have 8 Queensland anglers. So you halve it for the Queensland anglers. And then you halve it again, we have 4 Victorian anglers. And you halve it again, we have 2 rest of Australia anglers. One of them's Joey Gardner from WA, one of them's Al Lister from ACT. So no banging on New South Wales if you win the grand final. It's like you got half the field there, guys. Come on. And it's your home state. So, you know, look, on that grand final trophy, there are a lot of Queensland names. I think what I noticed this year, the Queensland anglers, especially the group of Queensland young anglers, they're very inclined to travel. Like we saw them all down to Victoria. Guys like Sam Peck were leading Malakuta after the first day. So they could be some of the dark horses there. There's a lot of people here that haven't won a grand final before. And that's one of the narratives of the grand final is it's been going for over 20 years now. How many people have won it twice?
None.
The big donut. So we've done a little bit of looking through here. Won it before. Chris Hickson's won it before on the Hawkesbury. Liam Carruthers has won it before on the Clarence. Mario Vukic has won it before on the Clarence, only a couple of years ago. Won himself one of the Allocraft boats. I've won it before on Sydney Harbour, and Jason Mayberry has won it in Victoria. So 5 out of 30, 1/6 of the field, have the chance to be the first person to win the Bream Grand Final twice. So is it going to be someone, is it going to be one of the previous winners, or is it going to be one of the star-studded, the rest of the field? Because you've got guys in there like, let's have a look, Cam Whittam. Heaps of talent. Hasn't been having a fantastic year, but he's due to come good at some stage. Won nearly everything else in Bream Fishing. Is it going to be someone like Chris Lonnie, who's already won 3 or 4 events? You're allowed to cough, Nicole. It's okay. Who's already won 3 or 4 events in Queensland this year. Will he take his form south? Someone like Jamie McEwen, the Angler of the Year. You know, Jamie's always a very quiet achiever. Unfortunately, he's been looking for a Tarwine bridge down there, I think. Hasn't found one yet.
How well did he do last time he was at Port Stephens?
Double donuts from memory, I think. We'll remind him of that in the group chat. But guys like Chris Hickson, he's only like an hour or 2 up the road. Like, I don't know if Chris has been sneaking out for some sneaky pre-fishes. By the way, I've got a bit of FOMO because I think I was one of the few people who weren't there fishing last weekend on the last weekend of pre-fish. What about guys like Mark Healy? Already won 2 events this year. And I bet you Mark Healy's been doing his homework on that joint. Absolutely ruthless when it comes to the big events. And he'd have to be one of the favourites. Other guys, you know, Mitch Blomqvist he was on fire, leading Angler of the Year after the first 2 events this year. If Mitch gets on the fish, he is no stranger to catching 5 kilo limits of fish. Or will it be the last man in? We've seen last man in win it before. Scotty Wilson was the last one in. He had goddamn local on that place nearly. He lives at Newcastle. So Scotty Wilson sort of goes in a little bit unprepared. Only got a call up a couple of weeks ago, but man, he is going to be there and throwing his hat in the ring for that boat. So, you know, I won't even mention Uncle Wall because Wally Fay, you are guaranteed 100% to win the pre-fish.
Day 1, he'll probably be...
Day 1, you'll be up there. By day 3, Wally be selling the boat. If you want a nice cheap Phoenix, see Wally by the end of it. Let's look at the non-boaters. Non-boaters are also a pretty star-studded field there. And do we have a photo of the Bream non-boaters prize?
So many buttons.
So many buttons to push. Let's see it. Let's go to the prize first. Let's have a look at it. It is also an epic wall of tackle. Pretty Daiwa heavy. It's like every hard body they make nearly is on there, Nicole. But run through some of the stuff that's on there. I know you love doing Bream Grand Final Tetris.
Oh, this one was a good one too. Again, awesome sponsors for ABT. A big there's a pair of Maui gyms that's not pictured on there. There's a couple extra rods from Daiwa that aren't in the picture there. Bait junkies, a stack of hard bodies from Daiwa, line. There's some Crush Cities there.
Cranker crabs, a lot of crankers. I see.
A lot of cranker
TTs,
products on there.
Everything. All of our sponsors kick in, and we sort of, when we're making the prize packs up, we sort of throw a little bit to the side for the grand final stash, and we worked that one was worth what, $3,500 or something like that.
$3,500 to $4,000.
Yep.
So epic prize.
It is an epic prize. So look at that. We've got Angler of the Year Taka Kawasaki there. We've got guys that have won events in there before. Gordon Pullen, the doctor, Dr. P. He is a local on that place. He has got to be up there as one of the favourites. Guys like Neil Kelly. He's won a grand final before, only up the road. Lance Marsh, who only just missed an Angler of the Year. John Glover, I remember last year he caught a 1.7 something kilo bream. That would be very useful in the grand final this year, John, if you're listening. We have some of the guys from WA. I've never met Blair Paisley Kerr before or Aidan Miller, but these guys caught the heck out of them in. And let's face it, as someone who's quad donated in WA last year, if you can catch them in WA, you're a gun angler, I reckon. So we've got some of those guys coming across. Got locals like Peter Clark and Nick Penpraise there. So
Bill Bland, another WA. But he's been a regular at our events this year.
I think he's nearly got his East Coast passport, actually. But yeah, it really is, and anyone can win this deal. And again, the non-boaters, you've got to catch those 3 fish every day for 3 days, and someone guarantees going to have an awesome day on day 3 and go rocketing up through the field. So
there's something really cool that we're looking to do as well for the Bream Grand Final, something we haven't done before, but we did have a play with it, and it worked quite well at the Bream Australian Open in Sydney earlier in the year, is running that estimator scoreboard during the event in parallel with the weigh-in. So all the anglers competing will be able to log in, a quarter fish, 800 grams, whatever it might be. We'll push to an estimator scoreboard so we can all follow along what's happening, and then once they come in for that weigh-in each day at 2 o'clock, we'll get the real-time and actual results.
Because let's face it, we were sitting there thinking grand final, yeah, we might do something at the start, but man, what's going to happen in the 7 hours between when they go and when they come back? We don't want to have no information that whole time. We can't do it at the Bass Grand Final because there's no cell phone coverage, but damn, we can do it at the Bream Grand Final. It worked pretty good at the Bass Australian Open, so I think pretty sure everyone who's fished the events knows how to use our app. You'll just have to estimate the weight of your fish. You can use our length weight curve if you like, or if you know more than that, you can put your weights of your fish in, and then your friends and family at home, they can go to the ABT website and they can follow the action.
Yeah, no photos, nothing required. It's just a number that you'll pop in the app, and it's got to be cool to follow along and just see how close. They were pretty good at the Australian Open to guess the weight versus what they actually weighed in, so let's see how close they can get it.
I wonder if we can dig up a prize for the angler that gets the closest. I know we're going to do it for the Open next year. We're going to really monetize how good you are at guessing your bag weight. So it's going to become increasingly a feature at the big ABT events. We want to know, and I'm sure you want to know, what's happening out on the water while it's happening. Everyone gets bored of watching my live stream all the time. They want to see what happened in other boats. And let me say that live streaming a donut for 7 hours is not pretty for anyone. You or me, don't worry. We'll see how we go. As usual, that grand final, we have the briefing at the bolo down there. You're not cooking everyone dinner for that one. You get the professionals to do it. So
no, I'm having the night off.
We've got some cool things happening that night, including the presentation of the Angler of the Year. I've made up a cool little video we can all watch about some of the yearly highlights. So it's going to be a great night, followed by a great event. Now, one of the people we did catch up with during this week was Taka Kawasaki, who is the non-boater Angler of the Year and designer of lots of cool Daiwa stuff, and who was heavily involved in Daiwa's warehouse move recently. So Nicole, we managed to steal a bit of time from him, and he's done a few things for us tonight. One of them is the story coming up, and the other thing at the end is a sneak peek of the new Daiwa warehouse.
Like, what's Taka
What's the
done?
second one? So no, we've got two things from Taka. The first one is Taka's take on the Daiwa Bream Series Grand Final. Hit it. Taka Kawasaki, you haven't got the trophy yet, but you are the 2023 Daiwa Bream Series Non-Boater Angler of the Year, mate. A little bit of a preview, congratulations, mate, but we're going to give you that trophy at the briefing of the Grand Final in only another week or two away, mate. You're looking forward to that night in the event?
Yeah, definitely. To be honest, I wasn't actually expecting it. At the beginning, I had a good run, and I thought maybe, and I spoke to you, I spoke to Nicole, I actually got to thank Nicole because she's the one who told me to go do Gladstone, and that's where I, sealed the deal. So thanks to Nicole. I'm very excited.
It's interesting that you're going to be like the guest of honor at the briefing party, but you're going to have to bring all the prizes, mate. We got you bringing some goodies for anglers, and let's not go into specifics about what they're going to get, but everyone who qualified and comes to the grand final gets a bit of Daiwa swag.
Yeah, that's it. So we've been working on a few bits and pieces. As you know, we've released a lot of things at After. There's some new releases in there and some of the old-time favourites mixed in there. So, yeah, hopefully everyone will enjoy that bag. Yeah.
It's a new grand final venue for us, Port Stephens, and it's only about 2.5 hours drive north of Sydney. I think there's rumours have it there was like half the field was there pre-fishing on the weekend. It's going to be it's a very expansive arena. You can go up to 30 or 40 kilometres to the north. You can go up the Karura River to the west, and the port itself has got such a diversity of structure. Question I've got for you is, you probably had a bit of a look at the list there. Who would be your dream draw for this event? If you're sitting there saying, I wonder who I want. And from a non-boater's point of view, do you want a top-ranked angler who's on them, or do you want an angler who mightn't catch as many fish? That may mean there's more left for the non-boater. What's the theory in the back of the boat?
I think throughout the season, I had a lot of luck with the boater, and I'm definitely going to thank them for that. Like, without them, I obviously wouldn't be able to win ALY. I got along really well with everyone, and everyone has each own their techniques and specifics of how they fish. So I think I don't have my favourites. I don't know how the boaters feel about me being their boat. That's a different story. But yeah, I personally don't have any favourites, and it would be nice to fish with someone that haven't fished yet. But you don't know what's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to see who I get to fish with for the grand final.
Yeah, so it's a 3-day event. You have done a 3-day event before, the Australian Open, as a boater, I remember, and you got better and better as that one went along, mate. What do you reckon by day 3? Is it going to be hard to catch some fish?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, obviously, like you said, will go pre-fish as well. They've pre-fished already, or they'll obviously come out on Thursday and they go for pre-fish. Whether it's a big or small arena, I think getting fish for 4 days straight, including the pre-fish, I think that'll make it a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
All I got to do is I got to do what I know and what I'm used to. One thing I've noticed is that talking to a lot of people, trying to gain information, just actually confuses you quite a bit. So I'll just pack everything and take it out there and see what it's like, and just fish the way I normally do. So see what happens.
I suppose another question I've got for you as the Daiwa guy there, when you go to an event, do you look on the boat decks and see how many Daiwa rods and reels are sitting on boat decks? Is this one of the bits of information you've got to bring back to Daiwa headquarters?
Not necessarily to the office guys, but Tom and myself, obviously, we do care. And it's really good to see our product, laying on a deck. Even the little lure itself, some of the guys will come up and say, hey, Tuck, I use this lure and a caught fish. And it's really good to hear that they're enjoying the product that we make. So, yeah, that's definitely something I always pay attention to.
Now, this isn't the standard setting for a Daiwa interview. It looks like there's a bit going on in the background there, mate, and that is a bigger warehouse than I've been to before. Of course, we've done the Daiwa Bream Australian Open briefing at Daiwa once, and it wasn't where you are there now. Tell us the story about what's going on.
Yeah, so we obviously expanded. We grew quite big quite quickly, and warehouse was getting chock-a-block. So our management made a call and say, we need a bigger warehouse, we need a big office. So we actually moved down the road from where we were originally. It's a lot bigger. I think the warehouse size is nearly about 3 to 4 times bigger than what it was before. So yeah, currently warehouse boys are working really hard, putting everything away, shipping orders out. Us as I guess what we call it office staff, are not back in office yet. We're still waiting for the office to be properly set up. So hopefully everyone's back in office probably around sort of mid to end of November.
Awesome. And we have a special little tour at the end of this show where you're taking us and showing us through all of the aisles. And for all of the people that don't work in the industry, it's a bit of an eye-opener seeing, hundreds of thousands of dollars of reels all piled up 2 stories high in the warehouse. It's sort of like a bit of fishing tackle porn for us.
Yeah, I mean, even for us, when we decided to move the warehouse, it was a lot of stock to move, and it was an eye-opener for us, ourselves, as the staff member works here, to see how much we've grown and how much stock we got, and now how much we have to offer. So,
yes.
Yeah, it was really good.
Tell us, this is a bit of an unscripted question, but if you had to go to the Bream Grand Final in Port Stephens and you're only allowed to take 3 baits, what would Tucker pack? Because you've had a bit of a hand in designing most of the stuff that's on offer nowadays. What would be the 3 baits that you'd pack? And I'll count a jig head and a bait junkie as 1 bait. So what would you take to get you out of trouble for all those 3 days?
With a hard body, I'll definitely take a slippery dog. I think there will be a bit of a top water bite going, and the weather's a bit warmer. And I think from what I heard and what I could see in the map, there's a bit of a shallow, like weedy flats or in a sandy flats, and a little bit of structure going as well. I think the top water I'll definitely pack, and I think I'll pack Kodachi. That's always been my favourite. It's a little versatile little crankbait, and you can fish flats or you can fish the racks or any structure really. And then, like you said, probably pack bait junkie. I like my risky critter, and 1/30th jig head, nice and light. Just punch it in there, let it drift slowly. So that'll be the top 3 I would pack, and which I've packed. So yeah.
And what colour? What colour risky critter would you pack? What's your favourite?
My favourite's bloodworm. That's worked for me in Sydney Harbour. It worked up in Queensland. It works down here in Sydney, Hawkesbury, anywhere. So I think that's a very good versatile colour.
What about in the Kodachi?
I think you can agree. Sydney Suji is one of my favourite, and I think Steve, your favourite as well. So that colour's definitely accounted for a lot of bigger fish for me. I went out to Hawkesbury the other day and caught really good fish on that as well. So I packed a fair bit of those.
And finally, what colour slippery dog, and what size would you pack? Would it be the little one or would it be the big one?
I personally like the bigger one better. I had more success in the bigger size rather than the small one. As far as colour goes, I like the Crown watermelon, the little pinky one. They seem to work better for me, so I'll definitely take those ones.
Well, there you go. There's some fantastic tips from the man who designed most of Daiwa's lures in that massive new factory there, Tucker Kawasaki. But anything else you want to say, mate, before I send you off to go and find the best bass fisherman in Daiwa in those shelves back there?
I'm pretty excited to go to Grand Final. This is my 2nd season. I've actually got to fish pretty much all the round this year, except for WA. So I had a really good season. I really do thank you guys for organising this comp and tournament. And I do have to thank all the boaters I had throughout the season as well. And without them, I wouldn't have ALY. So, and yeah, hopefully we have good fishing days and Port Stephens. So wish you guys all the best.
Look, it's going to be a great end of year party, and I think everyone who fished with you would have enjoyed the experience. And of course, we love the support that Daiwa gives ABT, one of our biggest sponsors. But 100% think it's reflected in how many outfits you see on the deck. It's sort of Daiwa all the way a lot of the time, isn't it? So thanks for joining us today, Tucker, and mate, we'll see you in about a week and a half's time.
No, good. Thanks for having me.
What if every journey began with the push of a button? Where would you go? With the Mercury Avator 7.5e electric outboard, all you need is a destination. It's your invitation to fully immerse in the natural world around you. The Avator outboard's portable design and intuitive controls make getting on the water easy, while quick connect batteries let you bring along the power you need, so you can be ready no matter where adventure takes you. Stay connected while free to explore with a vivid display that tracks battery level and range. Or plot a course on the intelligent mobile app. Avator connected systems share everything you need to know to get the most from any journey. The all-new Mercury Avator 7.5e outboard. Intelligent, all-electric propulsion designed to make exploring effortless. Let your journey begin with Mercury Avator.
Busted on your phone.
I'm only talking with the Executive Director of Fisheries, so it's all right. It's business.
How good's Tucker? I don't think any boater would complain having Tucker on the back of their boat.
No, he's a gun. I had him in the grand final last year, and canned fish. It was one of those deals where at the end, I think he was 1 fish short, and I put the power poles down and said, right, you got 10 minutes to catch your 3rd fish, and he went whack, whack, and got him. He's a machine, Tucker, and an absolute pleasure to have on the boat. So good to see Daiwa getting into their new warehouse there too, and we got that tour later in the show. At the end of the show, we got a bit of a tour of the reel pawn, the rod pawn, the lure pawn, the everything pawn.
Oh, we just saw that little clip from Mercury Avator released a few months ago now. Very exciting. we were able to give one of those away on the back of the Bass Electric Series, a P395 that we gave away about a week and a half ago.
Good segue there.
I know, see what I did there?
See what you did
Waiara Long Dam. Chesley Lennon smashed it out there.
Holy mackerel, won his first Bass Electric Grand Final, won himself that boat, which I think the guys worked out was worth about 15 grand, boat motor, Humminbird sounder on it, but that Avator, we actually put it on the water. If you want to see some footage of it on the water, we threw it on the water and Ches went for a fish afterwards. Said he was going to catch me a fish, but he only got a bite, didn't get a fish. But looks great on the water. I've done some videos on him. On the ABT channel, there's the video of Chesley's winners interview with some of that footage. And on the Fishing Monthly channel, there's some of the range testing. So if you do Bass Electric fishing, want to know how far they go, we have the videos up there. So pretty good. And look, Chesley, what a popular winner. Absolutely killed it on Waiara Long. Average fish weight was 2 kilos. So his 4 fish, 2 a day he caught. He weighed in just over 4 kilos each day. So 4 fish for 8 kilos won in that event. And, the other 28 guys that were there were pretty keen to win it, but he shut the door on them because on the second day he could have only weighed one of his 2 fish. He still would have won by over 2.5 kilos.
And I think honourable mention out to Casey Monagle out to Toowoomba.
One big bass.
One big bass, 2.68 kilos. That one went. It was a giant.
He is a bit of a gun on that joint. I remember last time he went out with Adrian and from the back of the boat he was just giving it to him and won that event with over 5 kilos of fish. This one, big bass from the back of the boat. All it tells me is, Adrian Wilson, you're leaving too many big fish behind, mate. You're letting Casey catching them and catching. He's showing you.
But no, great event out there for to wrap up the Mercury Avator Bass Electric Series for this year. Again, we've said it before, but a thank you goes to the team at Bluefin Boats, the young team, Bo Everly, we've got Elion, Declan.
Yep, all the guys.
All the guys.
Marcus.
Marcus did a great job pulling the series together this year, ran all the events for us. Thank you, guys.
Yep, and then look, there will be a few changes next year. It's like we're just working out the structure at the moment, so there will be news coming on what that series is going to look like next year. So keep your ears to the ground for that one.
Yeah, that's a good segue just on 2024 in general.
Sure. You're the calendar person. By the way, if you're asking me what's happened in the calendar, waste of time. For the last few years, Nicole, you've been creating and implementing the calendar. So where are we at? Can I have the dates? Can I have the dates now?
Soon. So we're just in the there's still a couple of events that we need to finalise some venues. Like we have a tournament, we work in with the Hobie Kayak guys, bass events, bream events all around the country. We all like to work in together just to make sure as anglers you've got the most opportunity to do as many events as you can fit into your calendars as well. So we try not to overlap where we can.
Yep.
So at the moment there's still just a couple of date clashes. So rather than us give you dates, you get excited, book your holidays and accommodation, and then hate us when we have to change it. Just give us another week. So straight after that Bream Grand Final, it's normal, that sort of early November we release our calendar each year. So straight after that Bream Grand Final, watch this space.
Literally,
websites.
Today there were tournaments moving. Like we work with the guy, we work with 90% of the industry. There's about 10% of the tournament organisers out there that we have to do what they say because they've been doing it for 3 years now and they're traditionally their dates, but yeah, we work around that. We'll make sure that people can... Is that passive aggressive?
We play nice with everyone.
Anyway, we want to make sure that you can fish as many events as you can. We don't want you to have to choose between one event or the other. If you want to tournament fish 52 weekends a year, we want you to be able to do it. Yep.
So, straight after that Bream Grand Final week, keep an eye on the website, on the socials. We'll be launching that calendar.
Awesome. Okay.
So hopefully that answers all your questions. A week away. Give us a week.
Next up, we have, for a bit more perspective, we're bouncing around a bit tonight, but we're going to go back to bass, and we're going to talk to last year's Grand Final winner, Braden, who was also involved in either helping or hindering the warehouse staff. Don't know what happened. When guys from marketing do warehouse, who knows how it ends up. We might have to interview one of the warehouse staff one day to see if the marketing guys are good or bad down there. But Braden Shue, we talked to him. Here he is. So we've got him online now. This is the current ABT Bass Pro Series Grand Final champion, Braden Shue. Braden, welcome to the show. It seems like you and Tucker have both rolled the sleeves up and busy moving warehouse.
Yeah, hello, Steve. We're at Daiwa here
It is a very busy time. We've just moved warehouse from the old place, probably the best part of 200 metres down the road, unfortunately, but a move's a move, and everything's a bit messy at the moment, but the most of it's here, and the boys are getting stuck in. It's a busy time at the moment.
So when I was last there, yes, your last warehouse, your last two warehouses have been really elevated up on the hill, and this one is sort of down on the flat. Did you use my idea of flying foxing everything down, just like shooting it down a zip line into the new factory?
That'd be good, wouldn't it? That was you should have pitched that one to me. I might have been able to push that a bit further. Who would you go to with that
Greg,
one?
And he said something about workplace health and safety, and I was stopping at the other end. So
steel caps and high vis, mate. Everything's good.
Let's a quick recap about last year's event. It was at the Clarence River, one of your favourite places to fish. You were leading at the end of day one, and then there was a bit of divine intervention. The river was rising. The next day we went to the start. The docks were all underwater, and we couldn't run day two. And everyone's saying, we got a fish, except you, who are saying, better call it off, boys.
Yeah, unfortunately. No, it was Clarence for me. I love the Clarence. I fished it quite a bit now. It's it's probably one of my favourite places to fish in Australia. I would say day two, I guess Mother Nature played well for me. I was pretty happy with that. All night I was getting messages, like Cameron Hall was messaging me. He went down to the bridge up river there, and he said, "Oh, it's getting close," and he was sending me pictures, and it was, it was coming up, and I thought, "Oh, who knows?" Yeah, and I'm like, "Who knows?" And then the next morning, who did I have in the cabin? I think I had Mick and Matt, and Matty just jumped in bed, and he said, "Good work, mate." So congratulations, and Mick's in the corner with his thumbs up. So it was.
So you got a victory cuddle from the AOI.
I did, yeah. It was quite nice, actually. That was the real win, I'd say.
So earlier this year, I watched the doco you put together on your performance at the 2-day Australian Open, an event, by the way, which I love the ending of. But it was arguable whether we're going to back it up on day two, mate, because the Open really kicked in the butt.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to inherit a bit of Tommy's day two choking, because I've had an absolute a really bad year, I guess, for choking on day twos, and that was always in the back of the head for the Open as well, because for the Grand Final, because day twos are a bit rough. Like the hunter that we had a couple of weeks ago, I was sitting in second behind Langers, and I think I said to you when you passed me the camera, I said, "Oh, watch me choke you now," and yeah, fair enough, I pretty much did. So day two's a bit tough for me.
A man of your word, yes. But not lacking in the confidence department. I was just checking my phone then for the message you sent when I said, "Oh, you're going to bring the Grand Final trophies up," and you're like, "Oh, yeah, I'll just bring it up and give it to you, and you can give it back to me. I'll take it home again, mate." I like that confidence.
Yeah, you got to have confidence. Last year, my girlfriend Taylor and I, we were manifesting that I'd win the Grand Final, and we've been back on the manifestation train. So confidence is key, I think, and you got to back yourself. So why not?
I remember a comment that you made at the briefing of the Australian Open Bream event, and you just came up and you said, "Morgo, you're going to win the Bream and the Bass Opens this year." And I'm just going, get out of here. It's like, but whatever you say kind of happens. So if you're calling that you're going to win the Grand Final, I'm putting my money on you, mate.
Yeah, I'd like to think that. But yeah, I do remember that, actually. I just had a feeling, and I just thought you won the Bass one, and then I thought, you know what, like, I reckon it's going to be your year. So yeah, I just had a feeling, mate.
There you go, mate. So let's run with your feelings this year. Quick look at the arena. You did come up to the Lake Boondooma qualifier, and give the viewers a bit of your background. Like, you're not a Sydney boy, you're a Queensland boy.
Yeah, so I think it's about 2 or 3 years now, coming on 3 years. I think it is down in Sydney, maybe a little bit more. Originally Queensland, grew up in Bundaberg, Sunshine Coast, lived there for a while. Fished a lot of the Burnett dams, the Southeast Queensland dams through there. I know Boondooma reasonably well. Touch wood, I really haven't had a bad time there. Like, I've always been in the top 5, top 10 there pretty consistently. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little bit skeptical about how it's going to fish. Like it's typical ABT when there's really good weather for the 2 weeks before, and then a southerly change comes through on the Thursday. So I've already looked and I've thought, pretty standard, unfortunately. So
boys, won't it? That'll be whoever can adapt with the fish is gonna. But to be honest, I think a bass is going to like a change from the 35-degree days they're getting at the moment. So
yeah, I think so. Like, I'm kind of expecting a few things out of the dam, and I think it's probably gonna hold it back slightly to what it could be, but I don't think it'll knock them around too much because it's not a drastic change. So,
take us through the experience of winning an ABT prize boat, because the boats we put together probably have a retail value of around 50 grand. But, someone like yourself that's already got a flash boat that you don't want to move out of, it ends up being a pretty decent cash injection into your season. I'm pretty sure you get the thumbs up to do the next grand final when you paid a bit of the home loan off with the last one.
Yeah, exactly. It was really good. I remember, again, that feeling. I remember looking at that little green thing at one of the, actually, it wasn't the grand final. I thought that's going to be mine at the briefing at the Grafton Firearms there, and I thought, I saw Corey leaning on. I thought, get off my boat, mate. What are you doing? And really good. I'm kind of a little bit bummed that I didn't get to keep it a little bit. Timmy Steenhouse bought it, which was really good. It was a nice quick turnaround. I've obviously got the fiberglass boat, so I didn't have a need for it. My girlfriend and I were saving for a house, so that really helped with that. And only just moved in about 6 weeks ago. So it's so thanks, Morgo.
No, don't thank me. Thank all of your fellow competitors, mate. They've all contributed to your deposit on your new house.
Yes, it's all. Everybody's there. Everyone can come around.
Now the thing is, though, if your prognostication becomes true and you win this year, maybe you can keep it this year. Same boat. It's a 4.63 with the Merc 60 on the back. It's got a motor guide on the front. It's got the sounders. Got everything in it, mate. It's all ready to go.
Yeah. Well, in the Central Coast area, there's a lot of lakes now, and I've already said to the missus that it's going to be the little coast boat. So I'm going to be catching lots of bream and lots of crabs out of it. That's the plan.
There you go. So this is either going to be the call of the century or the most reminded interview you've ever done.
I think I know which way it'll be soon, unfortunately.
I asked this question about tackle, but if there were three Daiwa baits or three Daiwa bits of tackle that you were limited to take to the grand final, what would you pick out of the extensive Daiwa catalogue now to get you through? Not allowed to use anything that's a different brand. What three things are you going to be tying on the end of your line to get the job done at Boon Doomer?
Just lures, or are we talking the whole range?
No, let's just talk lures. I'm going to make it hard for you.
Lures. Okay. If I had to pick three, I've done all my rods up on Saturday, so I know exactly what I've got on. I've got a Steez Azrock in a 1/2 ounce. That's a spinner bait. They come with some bigger blades. I do a little bit of modification to downsize the blades. They're more of a cod or a yellow belly south style blade. So I swap them out to suit the bass that I guess how I like to fish them. I've got a 3/8 cover chatter on, Steez cover chatter as well, and I've got a Spike 53 on in the EXDR. So I know for a fact that they're in the boat at the moment, tied on, ready to go. So if I had to have the three, those are definitely the three.
So tell us about the 53 and the deep runner. I don't think I've seen the bait in person yet. Is that a bait that you're going to jerk bait, or is it a bait that you're going to long line?
No, so it's probably more of an edge, like just a normal reaction edge bite, like a nice slow roll down. It's very similar to the dunks and stuff like that. Gets down to that 10 to 12 foot mark. 53 mil, perfect size for bass. Got some really good colours in there too. So you can jerk a bait it to a point, but because the bib's so big, it kind of reduces the action on the jerk a bit. So I find just a really good slow rolls really well. I used it in the Hunter. I used it down south at the Victoria rounds as well. So really good lure for, I guess, that slow, really, really slow roll off the edge, and it gets down nice and deep and you get the structure.
Tell us about, it's going to be a hot week at Boon Doomer before we get there. It's going to drop like 12 degrees on the practice day, I think. Tell us what the bass do in the warm water. Like, my feeling is that bass don't really like warm water as a rule. Hot water at the top pushes them down. Yeah, so
if I was to have an assumption, I'd say that the thermoclines are starting to pop up. Anywhere in my kind of experience, depending on which dams, anywhere from 5 to 20 foot. So I'm kind of in the assumption that with the warm weather, the thermoclines will be coming, and I'll be looking in those areas. Typically, you don't find them up super shallow like you would down south here in the warmer water. So anywhere around where that is would probably be where I'd be looking. But yeah, like, they don't like that super hot stuff in my experience up at Queensland there. Like, I have had success in 1 or 2 foot water in the middle of the day in summer, but that's rare occasion kind of stuff.
Awesome, mate. I think that's a great rundown on you, where you're sitting, and some of your predictions for what's going to be happening on the weekend. A little bit of info for you is we invite 30 people to the grand final, but we actually we don't keep on going down the list until we fill all 30. So I think it's a 1 in 20 chance you have of winning a boat. So everyone will be looking at those odds thinking, oh, they're not too bad. Like you pay about
very good odds,
300 and something bucks to enter a 1 in 20 chance of winning a 50 grand boat is no one's going to complain about that, are they?
No, I think that's very good odds. But the field is what I'm, it's 1 in 20, but it's a very stacked 1 in 20. We've got Mick Johnson, he's been on a tear, Langers, who's obviously AOY, Coney, and then we've got the guys that did just the Queensland rounds, like Matt Johnson and Sean Falkenhagen. They're all like guns in those dams. So it is a 1 in 20, but it's a very stacked 1 in 20. And I'm a little bit worried, to be honest with you, because it's, there's 10 guys there that I'm going to be looking for instead of just like the normal couple of, the handful of guys that you're like, oh yeah, they're in for a shot. It's going to be quite a substantial amount this year. So,
well, remember you've got bragging rights over Matty Langford. He's never won a Bass Grand Final.
Hey, well, it could be the first time. Who knows?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Mick Johnson's ever won a grand final.
I don't think he has either, actually.
So you've got experience under the belt, mate, and they're just shooting at the stars, hoping.
Yeah, well, I guess so.
Big event players, mate. So mate, thanks for joining us there. It's great to see Daiwa's getting bigger and better. And look, you're 3 or 4 times the size of the old one. How many months do you think it's going to be until you're growing out of this one?
Oh, that's what I was saying. I'm like, I'd hate to see when we have to move next in a couple of years' time, because it's just like the amount of work that's gone in is just phenomenal here. So it's I'm not looking forward to it for the next move, put it that way. I hope this one lasts a while. There
you go, mate. You will get good at racking and stacking those things. Thanks for joining us. We will see you in a couple of days in the weekend, mate. Safe travels to Boon Doomer, and we'll see if your predictions come true.
Thanks, Steve. See you there.
Oh, another one you got to watch out for at Bream Doomer this weekend.
Yep. It can happen. It might go for 2 whole days, this event too. You might be in trouble. I know I got in trouble for texting last time while we were going live. I was just actually texting Gussie then. Gussie's like, where can I ship some gear for coming over to the Barra Tour? No, we're not talking about Barra this show. Next show, Epic Barra Show.
Awesome, exciting.
But you've already seen the news that Gussie and Gussie are coming.
And they're not related, just in case you were wondering.
My theory is if they're both Canadian, both got the same last name, Gussie, you are related, you just don't know it. I think that's it.
But we put a poll to the audience a little earlier in the show. We had a little bit of he won AOY this year, had a little bit of a sing-along to celebrate. We asked you guys if you wanted to see that again. Matty Langford was very against it.
It was 35 down thumbs.
35, but I've done the spreadsheets, been counting all the votes. There's been a lot of thumbs up. It was close. Sort of 90% want to see it again, 10% don't.
Then we had the deciding vote.
Annette Langford. We figured if anyone's going to have a say in whether to see that again, it's Annette.
What did she say?
She said, again, thumbs up. This is the first I've heard him sing anything but nursery rhymes. So let's give the people what they want. Hope you're still watching, Maddie. Take it away.
Come on, Maddie. Get it. Pretty woman, walking down the street. Pretty woman, walking down the street.
And now I'm a little bit scared about going to Boon Doomer.
Oh yeah, it's going to be sabotage, isn't it? Maybe that was the song that Matt sang Annette to woo her into his arms.
Maybe, or maybe he should.
Maybe you should crack it out tonight, Maddie. Anyway, enough about Maddie. It's the Maddie show. It's been the Maddie show all freaking year.
It's easy to pick on.
Let's have a chat now about the final recorded story we have tonight. Tell us all about it, Nicole.
So he's always at the top of the leaderboard. He's been
near the top.
Near the top. Came tied second with you in AOY this year. Came second in the Bream Grand Final last year behind Brad Hodges.
Sort of had a final day bit of a stumble and let Brad zoom past.
Scrolling through some of the comments, he has been picked to take out this year's Bream Grand Final.
And by the way, let us know who you think's going to win the Bream Grand Final. And put your tips down below, because if you put it in the comments, you can go back to it and say, see, told ya, I picked it.
But great friend of ABT, Mark Crompton, based down New South Wales there. We caught up with him a little earlier in the week.
Yeah, in his magic carport. Let's roll it. Mark Crompton, Daiwa pro angler. Let me just say that neither you or I were at Port Stephens doing any practice last weekend, mate. Are you just going to wing it like I am?
Yeah, just follow everyone else.
What were you doing on the final weekend of practice? Tell everybody.
I was down at Beans stuffing my freezer full of trout. So I'm actually in my garage at the moment smoking a stack of trout. So no, we were away with a couple of mates and just, yeah, drinking beers and trolling lures around Bean, which is great fun. It was good.
No, it seems like you've got your priorities in order. However, word on the street was a lot of guys down there trying to work out Port Stephens. When last time we visited, it was quite a difficult venue. I was talking to Jamie McEwen earlier in the week. He said that it was the only place I think he double donutted on in the past. And firstly, you never believe what anyone says before a big event, let alone a grand final. But apparently the fishing's a little bit difficult down there at the moment.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't know, mate. I was talking to Blake O'Grady actually today, and I went to go and pre-fish one day a couple of weeks back and got up there and I realised I'd left my electric motor on and my power on, and I got there and I didn't even have a motor to start the main motor, a battery to start the main motor. So 3 hours up, turned around 3 hours back home. So
you've practiced the drive to Port Stephens. How was that? Good?
Drive is good and my bearings are sweet. So I've done the main part. Let's hope, So
look, we talk a lot in ABT about sponsor karma. You've been a Daiwa pro angler for years now. You've had a bit to do with all the making of some of their rods and reels and lures. How hard are you going to ride that sponsor karma train? Because you've won the Daiwa Bream Australian Open before, but you haven't got a Daiwa Bream Series Grand Final name on the trophy yet. You're hoping that the karma kicks in?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's, if you're going to try and take any one, yeah, you hope one of those kick in, So, yeah, I mean, it's the same with any fishing that I do now. I'm just going to go and just free fish and just enjoy the couple of days off. I think that's probably when we all do our best fishing. That's exactly what I did down at Malakuta last year, and that worked, kind of worked, close but not close enough. But that's how I find I just enjoy the fishing and enjoy the time, and that's when you fish the best. So.
Grand final, bit unique. It's like the Australian Open. It's a 3-day event, and I think going into day 3 last year, if any of the viewers aren't familiar with the result, Cromo came in a very creditable second at Malakuta, and that third day was the one that sort of pulled your pants down a little bit, wasn't it? You need that consistency over 3 days to take that title.
Yeah, you definitely do. You've got to be solid. If you're on the fish, you're on the fish. I think. The thing that sort of hurt me a little bit on day 3, I think a few of the areas, I probably didn't have enough zones, to be honest, and you're going to get that when you've spent the time down there, and done the yards, and I don't even, even to this date, I don't think I have down there. So, yeah, it definitely ran short not having those places to fish, and that will definitely happen to me as well at Port Stephens because I don't have that repertoire of zones, so... it's not going to be an easy event for me. I know that.
You know what it's like, though. When you win an event, the last day of the tournament always goes perfect. Like you always hook and land that kicker fish instead of losing the kicker fish.
Yes.
The way I think about it, the one day, teams events are like the 2020s of fishing. If you can have a few good kickers and win them. The ABT events are like the one dayers. You've got to have a bit more consistency across the 2 days. But the 3 dayers are like a test match. Luckily, we've actually pulled the grand finals field size down. We used to aim for 40 boats, but we've got a full field of 30 boats this year for the Bream Grand Final. Do you think that little bit less pressure on a waterway like Port Stephens will make it easier to elongate your fish through the 3 days?
Oh yeah, for sure. If you're lessening the ratio, the ratio is definitely better for the anglers, isn't it? Like, yeah, 100%, definitely it would. There's no two ways about that.
Tell us, Daiwa released a lot of really cool new stuff at the after show. They've got some new coloured baits. They've got the whole line of the new Daiwa 23 in feet that I've been lucky enough to have a play with so far, and they seem fantastic. What bit of new Daiwa kit are you most looking forward to giving a run on Port Stephens?
Oh, look, I've most of my rods I've been pretty selective with over the time. I haven't delved into anything new, and I do this every year. When I get into the grand final, I just rely on all the things that I've previously fallen in love with and I'm used to. I've got a brand new electric motor sitting there that I probably won't put on before the grand final, simply because I know what I have right now works perfectly. And if I change things about, then that could potentially hurt me. I don't know. I'm definitely a comfort angler in that respect. So
Is it superstition? Is it a bit of superstition that you've got the old gear?
Not really superstition, just more not having to worry about anything or getting used to anything again. I want to be really comfortable and that sort of stuff. In saying that, with the new Daiwa stuff, I've got the new Expedition line and I've been running that quite a bit. That is the business. So that is much similar to the old Evo 8, and I love it. I was devoed when they took the Evo 8 off the line, and now that they've got the Expedition back in, that bright orange, that burnt orange is beautiful line. So that, out of anything, is probably the one thing that I've fallen in love with the most. And you know, there's a few lures that I'll be trying, and I haven't tried anything there, so I really don't know what will work.
Yeah.
Everything I'll chuck the whole box, you know.
I've got a spool here to spool up, and it does seem very fine. Brim fishermen appreciate a fine, smooth braid.
Yeah, it's on par with any. Well, not on par. It surpasses any line that I've used. It's, you know, so did Evo 8. Evo 8 was a great line to me. I've been lucky over the years to use a lot of line, a lot of different companies, and previously to being with Daiwa, I had a good sponsor that had some good quality line as well. And luckily enough, you know, coming over to Daiwa, their line now is just, it's taken over everything, I believe. So the new Expedition is definitely great. Really fine line that is strong and really abrasive resistant. So.
Now I'm going to take the tone down a notch. Kaimi. He's the first man whose name's on that Bream Grand Final trophy who is no longer with us. I think everyone knows about the tragic circumstances that Kaimi passed recently. We've got a bit of a plan for the briefing at the Grand Final. We buy everyone dinner and we have a presentation of the Angler of the Year awards, and we do a live draw. No one knows who's fishing with who until that night. I reckon we're going to have a VB for Kaimi this year. We all know that he loved his VB. It was his identity. And how would you like to lead that drink for Kaimi on the briefing night, mate? You going to do this?
I'd be stoked to, mate. I think I'll be front row and centre if you're giving out free VBs, and so would Kaimi have been. So, you know, I think it's definitely something that we owe to the bloke. I think everybody that will be at this event will have known him somewhere along the line, or bumped into him, or learnt something from him indirectly. So I think we definitely owe it to him to catch up, nod to the man, and drink a VB for him. So.
I've got a story about Kaimi. The very last time I saw Kaimi was after Lake Macquarie. He was camping at Wanji Point Caravan Park there. And after everyone had gone, who was down there with a VB in his hand, helping us pull down the tents and having a chat? And he wouldn't leave until the van was packed and we were all gone. And I think that's just a symbol of what a helpful, nice bloke he was. He wouldn't stand around watching people do work. He'd have to help. He just was.
Yeah. Look, that was the man, right? Like, yeah, he was. We were talking about it. You know, we had a farewell for him, and we were talking about that. He was really, really good at breaking stuff, but really, really good at fixing stuff too. So that's the equilibrium. You know, he was good at it all. So he's gonna be missed, mate. It brings a tear to my eye talking about it right now. It has every day since I've thought about him. So
yeah, well, we would be honoured, mate, if you would lead that VB for Kaimi at the Grand Final, mate, and hopefully it's the start of a special campaign and a special weekend for you at Port Stephens. There, I know you probably haven't sat down studying the form guide. and who's fishing this event, but who do you think the anglers are to watch out for in this event? You know, we got guys like Mark Healy, who won last time we were there. But who are some of the dark horses you reckon might perform well there? And we can have a look back at this live show and see how well you pick, Cromo.
I think, truth be told, I think it's the guys that have got the time to do the research. I think there's a few guys that have really come leaps and bounds in a quick period of time, simply because of the time that they've been putting on the water and the ability to, I guess, finance that, as well as, use that time. I reckon there's people like, Pete Bruckle that have come back from, fishing from the back of the boat, not only a couple of years ago, and now he's sort of in his own boat. He's a smart guy. He's smart enough to work out things. And, I think there's a few people like that that have sort of stepped up into the game now that I'm never nervous about, any competitor around me, but I respect everybody around me at the same. You know what I mean? Look, I know those guys have loved the sport in the way that you need to succeed. So,
yeah, look, I reckon I see a great batch of really keen, will do anything to get more experienced Queensland young anglers coming through, the Sam Pecks and Chris
Harry's.
Yeah.
Keep my eye on him for sure. Like, I haven't spent much time actually talking to Harry too much, but these guys, like I say, these are the guys that have got the time to do it, right? So they're wholly, and I know what it's like, mate. Wholly and solely, everything's about fishing for them. You don't get to this level without that being how it is, So there's those guys, and then there is obviously the guy. Look, yourself and Hickson, always worried about you guys. There's Tom Slater's obviously fishing as well, so he's nice.
He's had to cancel.
Oh, Tommy, righto. Well,
that leaves the bridesmaid position open for you again, mate. You never know. You've got a few seconds. I think second in AOY this year, second at the grand final last year, and with Tommy out of the way, second place is open.
Yeah, right. Well, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, look, I don't know, mate. There's so many good anglers, and my respect goes out to all of them all of the time. So I always feel like they can beat me, But who's going to take it out? Well, that's why we all view in and look in at the weigh-in, don't we? Who knows?
I'll just reiterate the format of this grand final. It's going to be just like the Australian Open. We're going to have estimated live scoreboards all the way through. So as you catch fish, you'll put it in. People will be able to see all day how you're going, and then we'll have a final weigh-in to decide the actual final weights. But the old estimated scoreboard was pretty accurate in the Open, so I just think we're beyond the time where we're having a great grand final event, people fishing for a $50,000 boat, but no one knows what's going on until everyone comes in the afternoon. We want to know what's happening all day, every day.
Right, keep people active, Yeah, well, I guess that's something that we've always wanted behind, all the anglers. We want more interaction. People watching from home have always asked for that sort of thing. That's awesome. That's good. I think that's the move forward for us, isn't it? And I back it 100%. That's going to be great.
A big event like the Australian Open, normally I have 10,000 unique visitors to that scoreboard. So I'm pretty sure we'll be able to crack that 10,000 viewer mark at Port Stephens. Just shows you that even though not everyone comes to a Bream tournament, everyone's really keen to see what's happening at a Bream tournament.
I think you're right, and especially like the weekend just gone, I was down there trout fishing, and the amount of guys that had questions about, bream fishing and things like that, we cop a bit of flack over the years. I think a lot of, you're just chasing those little silver fish, but there's a lot of technology that comes out of what we do, and people from all facets of we generally tend to be the first guys to learn these sort of techniques and items. And I'm sitting here looking at my electric motor at the moment that I was trolling a spread of Tassie Devils out the back of the boat with reverse facing live sonar, watching our spread and picking which rod was going to go off. So those sort of things, it doesn't matter what kind of fishing you do. That technology and items that we use, it gets filtered right down through everybody. So, yeah, I'm not surprised so many people view in and look in to see, sneakily, oh, what is going on there with those, silly Brimos, so.
And I'm just going to recount what the prize is for the grand final. It's an Alloy Craft 463 aluminium bass boat style boat, but it has the full kit. It's got a Garmin Force on the front. It's got a Garmin sounder with a live scope, LVS 34, the live scope plus box on there. It's got a 60 horsepower Mercury in the back. It's fully equipped with the green marine lithium batteries and chargers. 99% sure that there's going to be a power pole come with it. We're just working with Lenny on the final details of that at the moment. So it is literally a turnkey package that I reckon any non-boater in the field would love to jump in, because they could just go and start fishing tournaments straight away. And we've seen many times over the years that sometimes a big 20-foot boat doesn't win. Sometimes it's a little tinny that can get up into the shallow creeks and shallow water, have a distinct advantage over the rest of the field. Places like Malakuta and other places where the sneaky little side creeks do well, man, you have to watch out. So that's around a $50,000 boat package that I think anyone in the field is going to be happy to own come the end of next weekend. So, mate, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us here. Give us a little bit of your insights, and I'm sure plenty of people will be on that abt.org.au website checking out the live scoreboards. So make sure you put your fish in as you catch them.
Yeah, no, I always try to, mate. I've looked at it from both angles, having that on the boat and doing it. I agree with it. I think it's great. It's great for the sport, which is more important sometimes, So no, it's good.
All right, mate. Well, we will see you at the briefing for the Bream Grand Final, and let's look forward to our BB for Kaimi, eh?
I'll be there with my Grant Kime VB stubby holder, definitely.
Okay, mate. We'll see you then.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Ooh, there's a bit of an update on those power poles since we talked.
Oh yeah, too, hey? I've got them. They are here in the office. So, and we're not fitting them to the boats, because sometimes if guys move the boats on, they want the power pole for their own boat. So we're going to give the power pole in a box with the prize. So if you haven't got a power pole in your boat, you've always wanted one, you can keep the power pole and stuff it on your boat, and the other boat might go to a new non-boater owner. Who knows? Updated. Another update is, little cat out of the bag, the new Daiwa 23 infeeds, I think, are turning up just before the grand final, which means that I have a whole set of second-hand, not 20 infeeds that I've been using for the Daiwa Bream series. And I asked Tommy Slater, I said, what are we going to do with these old ones? He goes, oh, I'll just give them to some kids. It's like, I'm not giving them to kids. I'm giving them to all my non-boaters that I fish with. So, assuming that new ones are turned up in the grand final each day, my non-boater will get a free used, but with some good karma, in-feet rod, and indeed into next year. So until those rods all run out, there's about 8 or 9 of them there, I think. So
you're just going to draw Tucker now, aren't you?
And if Tucker, if I draw you, you're not getting one. It's only people that don't work for Daiwa we're going to get one. So there's a bit of incentive next year to want to, maybe fish with me.
Very cool.
Get a free rod. Bribing.
And get to hear you listen, talk to yourself at live stream all day.
That's me. And then, but you know what? That's me giving some stuff away. How about you give some stuff away as well? We're going to announce the prize winners for these 2 prizes. The where you're from. Down. I wrote them down.
You go for it.
Okay. This one, Glenn Hoskin from Tuncurry. You were watching from there. Hosco, I think you're a non-boater in ABT anyway. We have your address, so we're going to put that in the mail to you. Thanks for watching ABT live tonight. The karaoke, thumbs up, thumbs down, was Jack Kadarian. Jack, I don't have your addresses, so I think he was watching on Facebook.
He was, yeah.
So send us a Facebook message to Australian Bass Tournaments with your address, and we will send you out the Atomic Froggies Offshore Barra/Dew pack with lures, hats, etc. in there. So, so that nearly brings us to a close tonight. We do have our special closing feature, which is the sneaky tour of the Daiwa warehouse.
True, yeah.
Anything else that we have to mention before we hit the road and get packing for our Bass Grand Final trip?
No, can't wait. Give away a couple of boats, award some trophies, make some people really happy. I think it's going to be an awesome next couple of weeks. Yeah, stay tuned.
There you go. Let's go and see behind the scenes in what happens in Daiwa's new improved factory that apparently they're never going to grow out of, but they'll be out of in a year. You watch.
Bye.
Why don't you...
I'll introduce you to our new warehouse worker over here. There you go. It's the Bassmaster over here, working in a warehouse.
This is what the Bass Champion has to do in his off time. He has to unpack buddy boxes.
That's exactly right. You need to do your part. Tom said I wasn't allowed to go unless I worked in the warehouse.
Are you actually contributing to society there, or making it go backwards and they've got to come and fix you in the start?
I'm making it worse. I'm making it worse.
Take us on a tour, Tucker, through the new warehouse.
Right, you want to come with us?
No, you're right. No, go for it.
So this aisle here is basically all the fishing lines and a bit of rods on that side. Ceiling's quite high, so it goes all the way to the top. And as you can see, Brayden working in the background over there, putting away some lines. And here's a master from the warehouse, Ben. Oh, yeah, there you go. Walk into the front of the warehouse. We've got 2 entrances, one over there and one over here. And I think the marketing boys are setting up a podcast room right at the top there.
Nice.
As well. Yeah, so all these new shipment came through not long ago. We've got a whole heap of pallets over here. And there's a man over there. Daiwa's one and only Tom Slater. Hey, mate.
Is Tom also making it worse or making it better?
I am also feeling alive.
Good to see that all of the people are hands-on in the move. Tucker, how big is this warehouse compared to your last one?
Pretty big. How big?
It's about 3 times bigger than the last one we were in.
Yeah,
a bit more probably.
And all the tackle junkies watching this at the moment are looking not at any of your faces, but between the two of you there at all those reels. Show us the reel porn behind you.
There's just a couple of dollars worth of some reels there.
And Tom just putting away his love child bait junkies over here. And a couple of electric reels over there. Hold up. BGs, Breams, Excella, Laguna. It just goes on and on.
It is exactly what every Daiwa fan just loves to see, I bet.
That's it. It's actually a lot higher in ceiling too, so we got a lot more room at the top as well. And moving into my babies, so we've got a hard bodies over here. Infit all the way from there. Keep going, keep going.
That's a lot of infit.
A lot of infit. New colours, old colours, whatever. Everything's there. And a couple of boys working the warehouse. There's Reese. That's all double clutch there. So double clutch takes up about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bays. Yeah, about 5 bays over here.
So the most popular hard bait you sell is double clutch?
I would say so, 100%. And then we got, I've seen all the new infit lures somewhere before. I think Reese is putting them away. Let me find them. Yeah, there they are. Those boxes there. So that's all the new infit spikes and Kodachis there. Getting put away at the moment. There's a lot going on in here at the moment.
So, Tucker, one thing I've noticed is everyone's got the sleeves up working hard, but you're just rocking up with an iPhone and filming people.
That's it. Actually, I'm holding my laptop, so it's a little bit heavier than an iPhone, you know.
You should be working in marketing, mate. You've got the marketing guys on the tools, and you're doing the marketing.
Got my coffee and walking around like I just locked up, you know. There you go. So this is the accessory aisle. So you see all the bait junkie bags, apparel, scarves, gloves, hats, everything there. And we got that jig head aisle there. So jig head starts from there, goes all the way there, keeps going. And then this is the latest release, Silver Creek, Dr. Minnows, and you got squid jigs, and yeah, it just goes on.
It's